All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we got a lot to talk about. The first thing is a new crypto project that hit the scene that everybody's fighting about. Okay, I'm seeing lots of back and forth about this on Twitter. Pretty much everywhere people talk about crypto online. This has got, people fighting with one another. It's a really polarizing topic. We're going to talk about why in this video. We're going to look at a lot of the news updates that have happened in this space since yesterday. Some things that have been quietly brewing underneath the surface for cryptocurrency adoption, answer some of your questions, check on the crypto markets, and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to start today. Last but not least, nothing I'm saying in these videos is designed to be financial advice, and there's lots of scammers in the comment section below. Just ignore them, like I'll never give you my phone number or ask you to invest with me. So, we got people in the chat here. We got Culturized, David Stone, Code Chap, Glenn, Bruno. Welcome. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Okay, so let's talk about this new crypto project that everybody is, fighting with one another about. Like I said, pretty much everywhere we talk about cryptocurrency online, people have been at each other's throats over this. So what is it? Well, we've talked about several themes on this channel, and especially in these live streams, about what you can do with blockchain technology to, create a new paradigm of Web 3.0, make the world a better place, move away from centralized control to a more decentralized future. And what's possible with that technology? Things like identity management, right? Where people can basically retain more of their privacy, have a digital identity that can give information to, applications without revealing specific information about that. We talk about zero knowledge proofs. That's a way of doing that. A world where lots of things like this are possible. Okay. So we see a new project, coming into the arena that's talking about something like this, but it's got a lot of people kind of upset with the potential pitfalls of the implementation. All right, so let's jump in here. So this is WorldCoin. All right. So this is a new cryptocurrency that will be distributed fairly to as many people as possible. So details how it works are here. So worldcoin.org. So let's look at the website and also the press release about it and how it works and what people are so upset about. So basically, I'm gonna skip the copy on the website here. Go to the press release from CNBC. Looks like. So you see this big orb, and we're gonna find out what that does here in a second. So basically, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, metallic orbs that scan people's eyes to pay them in a digital currency. Well, that's what they're doing here at WorldCoin. So it started launched out of stealth on Thursday. Basically, it's going to hand out free currency to people who verify their accounts by taking an iris scan, which their goal is, to distribute a fair cryptocurrency to everybody in the world. Okay. So it says the idea sounds outlandish at first, free money. All I need to do is have my eyes scanned. It sounds too good to be true. So basically how I say, it's talking about expanding the reach of cryptocurrencies and financial services more broadly to the masses. Less than 3% of the population are currently cryptocurrency users. So basically, talking about they're shipping its orb-shaped devices to people in 12 countries. So testers get users to sign up by having their irises scanned. The image is then encrypted and becomes unique code, while the original data is deleted to protect users' privacy. Following that, users are given free share of WorldCoin's cryptocurrency. So basically, they've designed the whole system to be fundamentally privacy preserving. All right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Infrastructure for basic income, how this could work, and then how it's kind of piggybacking off the crypto boom, all this type of stuff. All right, so I won't get all the details of everything about it. I'll put a link to the CNBC article here in the live chat replay, and then I'll also put a link to WorldCoin's website in the live chat replay. So if you want to read more of the primary information here, you can. But yeah, so. We got a lot of people up in arms about iris scanning in exchange for cryptocurrencies. So we'll talk a little bit more about the polarization of that idea here in a minute. But let's look at another sort of take on this. So this is from, let me see if I can find it. Let's look at the implication of what this technology could do, though. All right. This thread from Chris Dixon here. Of course, this is with A16Z crypto. So 2 years ago, Vitalik, mastermind behind Ethereum, wrote a seminal post about the hard unsolved problems in crypto. So one problem is he talked about Sybil resistance, which is closely related to what's known as a proof of unique human problems. That's with blockchains. Basically, you have an address, but how do you prove that you are a unique human? You might control a bunch of different addresses, right? So it would be very useful if everyone on Earth could get, for example, a non-transferable NFT that prove that they are a unique person while also protecting their privacy. This would eliminate the need for CAPTCHAs while providing new ways to fight spam and DDoS attacks and enable better Web3 voting systems, and among other things. So today they're announcing their investment with WorldCoins. They're backing this project. And basically, the way that I think about WorldCoin is it's both a platform, proof of unique humanness, and an app. Airdrop tokens to as many people as possible. It's like basically they reinforce one another. They have 100K beta users signing up. But anyway, so let's that's what the app is basically. That's what the project is that's the long-term benefit of the project that they're trying to crack, okay, is basically creating some sort of digital identity-based solution that can prove that you are a unique human on the blockchain, all right? So where if you're going to use different Web 3.0 applications, they're knowing that you are a unique person. You're not signing up 10 times. Like you see this a lot with cryptocurrency airdrops. They just airdrop their users to every single wallet that's interacted. You can kind of game the system. You could create 100 wallets and interact, and then you would get 100 airdrops. There's lots of ways we could create better applications in the future that restrict unique individuals from participating once and only once, right? Voting is another prime example you talked about in here. You don't want somebody voting in a public election more than once. That's a big limiting factor with blockchain right now. Okay, so that's the problem they're trying to crack, which is a huge problem. Now, the implementation of this problem is, I think, what has a lot of people up in arms. So the idea of shipping an orb that scans people's irises and then basically taking biometric data to create a digital identity around that. I think that fundamentally just trips a lot of people's radar, you know what I mean, to say, maybe I don't trust this thing that's scanning my eyeball that claims to be, protecting my privacy and encrypting the information on the device. So I was just articulating their position. I think that's what people are so upset about. Now, to their defense, they're saying that this information is encrypted. Information about exactly who it is not stored. Basically no way to fundamentally tie that back to that each unique individual. That's sort of their retort to that. Then we have people, basically responding to that even more, saying that, well, then you could just analyze transactions to basically generate insights into who each person is based on the unique hashes that are stored in the databases or however it's stored. All right. So lots of controversy here. A lot of people saying there's no way I'm going to just get my eyeballs for free cryptocurrency. So one thing that's really interesting about this is I've kind of talked about, some possibilities for decentralized identity management solutions and how that could work with blockchain, okay? Apart from this particular thing. Now, this is mirroring some of the ideas that I've talked about. And not saying that people are like copying what I'm saying. I'm just thinking that people who understand how the technology works and are trying to be creative problem solvers can inevitably come to similar conclusions based on how the world works. But basically, I've talked about decentralized identity management solutions where you could have something where you have something that certifies you as a unique individual, all right, and then you have some sort of thing that controls your address, whatever, where you could prove something about your identity, actually manage that. And I've always talked about how you could have, some sort of agency or private agency, government agency, whatever it is, any place that actually, issues identities now could be responsible for this. And they could actually be responsible for setting that information up on your unique device to where it never leaves your unique device. And that person doesn't get to keep any of the information. Now, this is kind of automating a lot of that process with the biometric information with an eyeball scanner, okay? Because, hey, that's a unique, fingerprint. I mean, it's an eye, right? Iris. But, I think that particular part of the implementation is what got people pretty upset. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Would you scan your eyeball to create a digital identity and get some free cryptocurrency? Somebody said, did they not see Minority Report? Not for me. That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, that's the new project everybody's fighting about. That's what you need to understand. So another thing that I saw yesterday, kind of floating around, that we're seeing something kind of quietly brewing behind the surface. Um, let's just see here. See if I can pull it up. So it says Walmart has quietly begun hosting Bitcoin ATMs. Okay, so the retail giant is offering Bitcoin through 200 of its Coinstar kiosks and tie up with crypto ATM firm CoinMe. I think I'm saying that right. They made sure it's real. Okay, so they went in and verified this with CoinDesk. So this is pretty interesting. I don't know if you ever saw these Coinstar things like at a grocery stores. I don't know if these exist internationally, but at least they do in the United States. I've seen them before. I remember using these things when I was a kid. I haven't used them in a very long time. But the whole idea is like, you take your spare change and you go to this big machine and you would just dump it in there and you don't even have to count it and it would like spit you back like cash or gift cards or whatever. I remember when I was a kid, you had to actually go to like a physical bank and sit there and like roll the change yourself or like, count it out, and it's such a pain in the butt. But this machine just automates that process and it can spit you out, something of equal value or for a fee, right? They charge a little bit of a fee to count your coins, and it's always like, I wonder if this thing's counting my money, right? You know what I mean? You just dump a big thing in there, and who knows if it's even close. Anyways, so these Coinstar ATMs, I guess the products have evolved over time to give more services, okay, to be more valuable to the customer. And here it looks like, 200 of them across these Walmart chains have actually started, becoming Bitcoin ATMs. All right. So that's pretty, I don't know the implementation here. I don't know if it's basically you bring your spare change and you get Bitcoin, or if you could just buy it with cash. They say you buy it with cash on the sign. So I wonder if that advertising is correct. I don't know if you can cash out with Bitcoin. I know it's got some implications on, maybe it's like some money laundering. But I mean, you can't cash out that much Bitcoin through ATMs. Like you're gonna cash out like $1 million from a Bitcoin ATM. You gotta go to a lot of ATMs. So another couple cool things I saw in space come up yesterday. One of them was an announcement from Chainlink. Okay, so Chainlink is definitely a cool project in the space. It's powering a huge number of DeFi applications. Basically, Chainlink is an Oracle project. So what is an Oracle? Well, an Oracle is a way of getting real world data into the blockchain. So what do I mean by that? So like smart contracts, anytime you use a decentralized exchange, you're interacting with a smart contract. Anytime you buy an NFT, you move an NFT around, you're interacting with a smart contract. Anytime you're sending a ERC20 token, a cryptocurrency around, like USDC, DAI, Uniswap token, any of that stuff, those are all smart contracts. So to get a better Web 3.0 future, we have to solve a problem with smart contracts, which is already being solved, which is basically how do you get real world information into these smart contracts to create intelligent applications that are really powerful long term. Because here's the problem. Like a blockchain doesn't really know any information besides just what's on the blockchain itself. All right. So basically, like let's take an example of a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange. So if you were to create a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange that needed to know the value of the Ether price in US dollars, it doesn't really know that information because that information doesn't really live on the blockchain itself. Now, kind of does, like with Uniswap pools and how they deal with their automated market maker technology. But let's just rule that out for a second. So basically, let's say you were building a crude decentralized application from scratch, like you're the very first blockchain developer ever creating this infrastructure, and you didn't know the price of Ether. Well, the price of Ether exists on cryptocurrency exchanges. Like, it's not programmed into the cryptocurrency somehow. Sometimes people get kind of confused about that. The market sets the price, okay? And how do you get that market information, that cryptocurrency price? Well, you have to ask for it from an exchange, or maybe you ask for it from a website like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap.com, that aggregates the prices from all different cryptocurrency exchanges and gives you that back. Well, you got to get that information on the blockchain somehow, okay, to talk to your smart contract. And there's a problem with smart contracts because they exist on multiple machines across the network. Like, there's multiple nodes. So you kind of have this problem where you can't just, like, use a traditional API like you would in a Web 2.0 paradigm, because there's essentially you could have a discrepancy in the state execution, right? They all have to execute at the same time across all the nodes. So basically, that's what Oracle does. Oracle lets you get all this information and put it back to the blockchain. And Chainlink does this with a decentralized Oracle protocol that has multiple validators. It's a very sophisticated scheme to help validate that data and then provide a smart contract. So that's a very long-winded explanation to show you the problem that Chainlink solves, and then to enter into this new development here. So the Associated Press, one of the largest news organizations in the world, is launching an official Chainlink node to bring high-quality economic data, sports outcomes, and business financials onto blockchains to support smart contract innovation. All right. So that's the whole point here. So we've used Chainlink for lots of different things. We've used it for mostly cryptocurrency prices. This is the main major use case. But we're just scratching the surface, and we can do with smart contracts, and we have new data providers like Associated Press here. We open up the doors for new types of applications if you want to bring in different economic data, sports outcomes, business financials onto blockchain. Imagine what you could do. Imagine if you needed to settle insurance contracts on blockchain, and you actually needed to know, was there a wildfire somewhere in your zip code? It's all this type of information that you could pull and actually, use in a meaningful way on blockchain. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible, and we're Chainlink's partnering with new data providers with AP to help do this. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so we'll take a look at the crypto markets here in a second, but we had an interesting hiccup in the crypto markets yesterday that a lot of people are talking about, so I figured I'd bring it up as well, which is basically there's a flash crash in the Bitcoin price on the minute chart on Binance US. Okay, so the Bitcoin price crashed down to $8,200. So the crypto exchange attributed the steep and momentary plunge to a trading algorithm bug at an institutional trader. Okay, so if you were watching this, like, imagine this part of the chart doesn't exist. You were just watching, like, the Bitcoin price, and then it instantly just falls off a cliff down to $8,200, a price that Bitcoin has not seen since, like, I want to say like May of 2020, something like that. I don't have exact perfect memory of the Bitcoin price, but somewhere about then. It's absolutely crazy. So here's another thing: is they're talking about the problem here is basically algorithmic trader causing this problem in an institution. One thing I think a lot of people realize is a large amount of the trading volume or trading activity, a very large amount of the trading activity is essentially done by bots on exchanges, okay? These are the algorithmic traders. I mean, they're doing this stuff all the time. And so sometimes they can do things that make markets react in a very strange way. All right. And that's another thing that I think people need to understand is how cryptocurrency exchanges work. Each exchange is its own individual market. Like, if you look at exchanges, you might see price discrepancies across different cryptocurrency exchanges. And then you have, arbitrageurs and others who come bring these markets into efficiency because that's how the markets work. Like, each exchange is its own individual market. The price can be this on this exchange. It can be this on this exchange. And that's one reason that's one of the reasons the prices can kind of move so fast, as people are saying, well, I can buy it over here for this much and this over here for this much, and here's what the fair market value is. So the other thing is, I don't think people realize how much algorithmic traders have a significant influence over that, and in terms of short-term moves. All right, so speaking of crypto market, let's go ahead and take a look at crypto prices, kind of see what's going on there. Excuse me. All right, so markets, they've cooled off a little bit. So Bitcoin is back below its all-time high. Ether is also, like, let's just see, did CoinGecko update? So yesterday, when we look at this, let's just see here. Yeah, so it barely printed a new all-time high yesterday, and we've seen corrections back below that. I mean, I talked about this, how basically we could see kind of a rejection at these levels, or at least a correction and some volatility. This is not anything outside my expectations. Like I said, I don't have a firm outlook on exactly what's going to happen in a really short time frame, like 1 to 2 weeks. I still do think the next several months are going to get kind of crazy. I think it's just kind of how these markets work. And nothing about that has fundamentally changed. I know some people got a little spooked because we didn't just suddenly, blast off into infinity, but I didn't necessarily think that was what's going to happen. So the entire market's mostly green over the past hour or so. I think people are hungry for gains. I think people are hungry for new all-time highs and for most assets to enter into price discovery. Nothing has changed in terms of that thesis. So there's not a lot to talk about there. So let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Somebody says, I think the solution to all these trust issues is ephemeral and mutable infrastructure. Spin up your own of whatever you need for as long as you need it, then tear it down when you're done. Well, that's essentially what a crypto wallet is. I mean, all your activity on a crypto wallet is, immutable. It is essentially ephemeral because you can just dump it whenever you don't need it anymore. But I think people are trying to do a long-term solution where you could prove unique humanness without, proving information about yourself. So that I talked about some of this with decentralized identity management, how this could be done with zero-knowledge proofs. I mean, the tech isn't quite there to really support this at a mass scale, and we also have to work out the implementation about how they verify the identity. But I'll recap what it is. So basically, I think zero-knowledge proofs have a really strong chance of making the world a better place in terms of identity management. This is where I truly think that blockchain can make the world a better place. And not everything's going to make the world a better place. Like, sometimes you're going to create new technology that's going to create new problems, and it's just a different kind of worse than what you had. But here's one way that I think it can be better, which is with decentralized identity management. So basically, zero-knowledge proofs are a way of proving information about you without revealing who you are. One of the biggest problems on the internet today is privacy. So many people ask for your information, and there's all these people on the back end collecting the information, finding more and more information about you for whatever reason. And they silo this information and hold it. All right. And then that information is vulnerable to hackers, right? Stealing that information. And now those hackers know all this information about you. It's vulnerable to, anybody who wields power and might have a nefarious intent. It's vulnerable to that, whether it's a government, whatever it is, right? So Web 3.0, you could basically create something that is more of a decentralized identity management solution that is zero knowledge based. So that's a way of proving information about you without revealing who you are. So the example I use a lot is let's say you have to prove your age, but you don't want to prove how old you are, okay? That's what a zero knowledge proof is. It doesn't know what you are, but it just knows that the information is valid. If you have to prove that you're over 18 or over 21 for whatever purpose, then you could do that without saying how old you are. Like if you're 40 and you don't want people to know you're 40, but you're over 18, boom, there you go. Or you're 19, you don't want people to know that, but you're over 18, there you go. All right, you want to reveal your gender without revealing what your gender is. You want to reveal that your gender is blank without revealing what it actually is. I mean, whatever it is, right? There's lots of ways that you can make this better. Because essentially why that's better is they don't have to know what the information is. It's just that it's valid. You retain your privacy. This is kind of buy ETH in different exchanges, but store the cumulative value in a wallet. Yeah, you definitely can. This is privacy is a myth. It's a myth in Web 2.0. We don't have great privacy in Web 3.0 now, that's for sure. But I do think we can improve the problem over time. Somebody said they're shorting Walmart coin. So any chains that clean up old data, kind of like a rebase of the entire chain. Not to my knowledge. I mean, I know that like when you run a client, a validator, miner, whatever it is, a node, that you can basically like you can run a node without downloading the entire state. So you can kind of do that on an individual basis, but you want the entire blockchain to maintain its entire history. So do you think we could integrate a machine learning algorithm on a Solidity-based ETH smart contract? So you would not be able to implement the algorithm inside the smart contract itself. It simply would be prohibitive from a computation like perspective. It'd just be way too heavy. But you could have a machine learning algorithm that pulls information from a smart contract to learn about it, or one that talks back to that smart contract in some way, or both. You sort of build this side by side. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching.